Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Friday, 31st March 2017. I'm Fredicia Liburd. The Ministry of Social Development is getting a new home. This was revealed by Premier the Honourable Vance Emery during the latest edition of Government at Work with host Keith Scarborough. The location identified is on Government Road just west of the hospital entrance, and work has already begun.
So our plan was to, or is to, have those two buildings rehabilitated so that they can provide the kind of accommodation for government offices, for the Ministry of Social Affairs. Based on the plans which we have, it will be able to accommodate more. Now, there have questions being raised whether Ministry of Health should share. I don't see why, if the plans which we have, and we do some space management, that we cannot house some aspects of the Ministry of Health in those buildings when they're rehabilitated. As you indicated, the construction has started. They've begun to pull the buildings down to prepare for the general construction. The trees around have been removed because the idea is to keep the character of the two buildings, and then we link the two buildings with the space which exists between to take advantage of that space. And that is why I'm suggesting to go up. So we'll have like a 2 floors of space. And these are going to be buildings which will have a period look, but which will be modern, but will also be able to house inside, provided we manage the space well. And I think we can house more than just the Ministry of Social Development and so on.
Premier Emery noted that the effort was being made to reduce the cost on the government's budget, especially as it relates to renting office space.
Around town, we have the government renting a number of properties. And the cost of rental to the government is about $250,000 for space which we're renting in Charlestown. It might even be more than that.
Once the building is completed, the Premier notes that space would become available at the administration building in town for other offices to occupy.
The whole idea is to see where the government has property and to find the source of funding to provide, to renovate, expand, and create the kind of a space for the government so that we can have adequate modern space for our people.
Government at Work is first aired on Vaughan Radio at 8 p.m. on Thursdays, with repeats on that same station, as well as on Nevis Television on Sundays at 8 p.m. A delegation led by the Honourable Clyde I. Van Putten, leader of government of the public entity of St. Eustatius, visited Nevis on Thursday, March 30th, primarily to participate in the 23rd Annual Agriculture Open Day. Courtesy calls were made on Premier the Honourable Vance Emery and Deputy Premier the Honourable Mark Brantley at their respective offices at the Social Security Building in Pennis.
I think this year might be the largest number
indeed,
that we've had. But we're very, very happy, and I know the Minister of Agriculture is very happy to see you. And we're hopeful that we could find ways to build on this relationship, not just in agriculture, but I'm told a band came up.
Yes.
So there's some opportunities, I think, for cultural exchanges, for tourism, which certainly I think Nevis has a lot to offer, and I know Statia as well has a lot to offer. But it's just in terms of bringing people together and doing a bit more.
The officials included the Honourable Richeline Leardam, Island Council member, the Honourable Charles Woodley, Commissioner of Finance, Agriculture and General Affairs, Mr. Anthony Reid, Unit Manager of Agriculture, as well as Ms. Najeska Jack, Camera Technician of Government Information Service.
The relationship between Nevis and Statia go way back. As he said very well in his speech, I think that practically every household in Statia, one way or the other, sent kids to Nevis. Most of our men come here in the past to work, to play cricket, different type of sports. And they got involved, and eventually that's how the relation continued to build.
The Commissioner of Agriculture, the Honourable Charles Woodley, further explored the relationship with Nevis when they met with Deputy Premier Brantley.
We are looking towards having our own agriculture fair, but also coming into a more serious agreement with Nevis where it is more concrete, where we can exchange certain products, produce from Nevis, and also it go or vice versa. Most of our products come from the US, which is very expensive and also not the best for consumption. So we are looking towards promoting this and also engaging that we have this type of exchange with Nevis, and also, as you spoke about, culture exchange and also arts and crafts. Our agriculture manager is very engaged, very much in dialogue with the people here in Nevis, and we are looking forward to grow. As you can see, last year we were here with 30, this year we are here with 60 plus, and we hope next year it will be even a greater number. But looking towards that, working, and that it's not only on an annual basis, but that maybe weekly, monthly, that we can have exchange with produce and poultry, livestock, whatever it is, that we can have these exchanges, not only business but also for pleasure.
The delegation was scheduled to depart Nevis via the Charlestown Ferry Terminal just after 5 p.m. on Thursday afternoon. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis is once again offering scholarship opportunities to the Federation's graduates of the Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College CFBC as well as the Nevis Sixth Form College. Scholarships are only available to graduates who are interested in undertaking studies at the University of the Virgin Islands UVI for a maximum of 4 years. Interested graduates can collect application forms from the Human Resources Department of the Nevis Island Administration, located on the second floor of the Social Security Building at Penny's Industrial Site. All applications must be returned by Wednesday, 10th May, along with an original UVI acceptance letter, as well as an original birth certificate. For more information, contact the Human Resources Department at 469-5521 extension 2132. Still to come, Golf Insurance Inter-Primary Championship begins at 12 p.m. on Wednesday, 5th April. The details are right after this break.
This April 7th and 8th, get yourself to Owali Beach for the 2017 Nevis Blues Festival. As the sun goes down, party to music by Ian Siegel, Deanna Bogart, AJ Gent, and many more. Regular boat services will connect St. Kitts from Frigate Bay and Reggae Beach direct to the festival. Find out more at nevisblues.com.
As a responsible taxpayer, you help to finance free health care at all health centers on Nevis. Thank you for putting country above self. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis. Be a responsible citizen.
Welcome back.
The Nevis Disaster Management Department and its partners, Fire and Rescue, Police, Emergency Management Services, and all other relevant stakeholders participated in a regional exercise known as Carib Wave 2017. That is for the Caribbean region, the Americas, and Latin America. And this year, the focus was on tsunami response. It is incumbent on us at the department to ensure that our citizens are prepared as best as we possibly can for an eventuality of a tsunami. We at the department, our mandate really is to, one, prepare people or prepare citizens for any natural hazard that may cause the loss of life, and to respond or to manage if there is a disaster thereafter that natural hazard.
That was Junior Communications Officer at the Nevis Disaster Management Department, Rohan Iles, speaking on the reason for the tsunami exercise held last week. Inspector James Stephen, Operations Officer at the Charlestown Police Station, gave his impressions on the exercise.
Well, I think that the tsunami response was an overall success based on the target groups that was targeted in this exercise, mainly the schools, primary schools, preschools, daycare centers, and some of the commercial centers in Charlestown. We have observed that the response time, based on an average, the response time are within 10 minutes that most of the entities would have arrived at the safe zones, the tsunami safe zones in and around Nevis. However, we have experienced some challenges where the communication systems are concerned and challenges where traffic in itself are concerned. My appeal to the general public is that we need to take these drills seriously. We don't know when a tsunami will happen or any natural disaster where we have to respond to evacuate large numbers of persons.
That was Inspector James Stephen. The much anticipated Gulf Insurance Inter-Primary Championships is just a few days away. Director of the meet, Lester Blackett, gave a few details about the meet at the recently held press conference.
We have quite a number of events that's going to be held. We start from the 60 meters, 100 meters, 200, 400, 800, and 1200 meters, as well as the 4x1 and 4x4.
Blackett also made an appeal to the officials of the meet.
We'll be starting the event at 12 o'clock on Wednesday. That's the 5th of April. As the opening ceremony is the day before, then we won't have to have that to deal with on the day itself, and we'll start promptly at 12. And we're asking all the officials to be there by 11 o'clock so that we can set up, especially the registration section, because we have to start doing the registration at least half an hour before the first race. So the officials, those of you who are listening or hearing me or seeing me, kindly be reminded that it's at 11 o'clock that you need to be there by.
He then thanked all those who have contributed to the success of the meet over the past 25 years.
We want the meet to be an exceptional meet, and being the 25th, I'm sure Gulf is indeed very proud, and we are indeed proud of Gulf to be supporting the championships. Also, supporting over the years also has been AL Evelyn Limited, so we also want to thank them as well. And of course, thank all the parents, all the students, the coaches in particular, and everybody who has ever made the meet such a success for the last 25 years.
The Inter-Primary Championship will take place on Wednesday, 5th April at the El Camido T. Willett Park, beginning at 12 p.m. Sir Cuthbert Montreville Sebastian, former Governor General of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis from 1996 to 2013, will be accorded a state funeral with full military honors on Monday, 10th April 2017 at the St. George's Anglican Church on Keon Street, Bastille at 1:30 p.m. The interment will be at the Springfield Cemetery. Monday, 10th April has been declared a National Day of Mourning by the government, and a national half-holiday for the public and private sectors has been proclaimed by the Governor-General, His Excellency Sir Tapley Seaton, to honor the life and contribution to the nation of the late Sir Cuthbert Sebastian. The body of Sir Cuthbert Sebastian will lie in state at Government House from 8:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Monday, on 10th April, for public viewing, and all flags on government buildings will be flown at half-staff on the same day. Sir Cuthbert Sebastian died on 25th March 2017. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, I'm Fredecia Liburd. Thank you for viewing.